on Galaxyafiwe. We are proud of our various African languages, and we have a lot of pride in the fact that we are Africans and that we have this beautiful culture of a multitude of languages. The way we dress, the colors, and the way that we express ourselves. We're a beautiful people.
This is the Black Empowerment Show with Sista Shanice, giving you an African-centered worldview perspective. Keep it locked this way, it's the real deal. Bucky Joe said that. But that thing, play by the great king.
Sista Shanice in the house.
Under the pressures of a life and it tough.
Sista Shanice in the house.
Time pick it up. No matter with the down full style, strictly up full vibes. I pick it up when the bills them the rent.
Tune in to Sista Shanice on Galaxyafiwe, the only de-brainwashing station.
And it's only you. Like a past split turn up the music. Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and the rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet. Yeah. Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and the rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet. Yeah.
Greetings, Galaxy family.
Every pain there's a message.
Sista Shanice in the house.
Harmony that brings everything together.
For another Saturday community talk show.
Together. And who said life now?
And we have a special guest that's going to be calling in all the way from the USA. We're making some important links with brothers and sisters around the world.
Everybody wanna feel like free.
Rising Up Chronics in the track underneath me called Skanking Sweet.
Skanking sweet. Everybody wanna feel like free. Forget your troubles and rock with me. You know feel a reggae music sweet. Skanking sweet. We skanking till I'm born.
Yeah man, this tune kind of remind me of back in the days in the 80s when we used to go rave and we used to just skank till the morning. Now if young people don't know about them the Babylon system around here, lock down everything. But them time there we could have raved to right round to afternoon the next day. You know them time there, Jack Iron.
Troubles and the rock we rockin'. You know feel a reggae music sweet.
And reggae music sweet for true. We're to rise up all of our African reggae artists out there, wherever you may be. Those of you in JA, those of you in the USA, the UK, wherever you are making good, wonderful, conscious and entertaining music, we rise you up.
Body is stinking sweet. Body is stinking sweet. Yeah. I'm gonna be skanking. I wanna be skanking. I'm gonna be skanking. I'm gonna be skanking.
Wonderful, wonderful voice of the one called Chronixx. Absolutely fantastic, awesome artist he is. And want to rise him up for bringing another very talented young artist on the scene who recently got one of the Grammy Awards, or I think it was something like that anyway. But rise her up for the works that she's doing, for the international kind of appreciation love that she's getting for her works. But first and foremost, the love came from Chronixx to give her that platform, and she goes by the name of Kofi. And let's bring in one of her most popular tracks called Toast.
Can't ball in a life, man.
Can't ball in a life. A one life we have to live, and we have to do the best we can with it.
Toast, yeah. So we are coming with a force, yeah. Blessings we are reap and we coursing on full. Oh, in a rise and boast.
So rise up the young sis for
Give thanks like we need.
doing the works to bring her talents out there.
Thankful.
Let's hope with the recognition and the endorsements and everything that she gets, that she does what
Gratitude.
Chronixx did for her.
Blessing.
Pull up her next one, you know, cause that with a door. Pull up.
Friends will take off every load. One time did sit down in a class and we poured then only said the road and we go on with the road. Third form, me say me try a thing. And you know it formed up to be a fire thing. Now up on stage with Chronixx I sing. Yeah, see me all in you soon get the higher ring like hello brother. You say I just shot ya. Saw your poster, spectacular photo. Keep it burning, yes, that's the motto. If me the butter pass through your shot to can't ball in a life, man. Me have to thank God for the journey, the earnings are just for the plus. Yeah. And gratitude is a must. Yeah, me see blessings fall, them right on. But I toast to the friends we take off every load. One time they sit down in a class and we pour then only said.
So it's the community talk show today. Yes, and it's Sista Shanice in the house. I want to thank all the listeners for keeping it locked to the Big G. And certainly hope that you're going to be interacting with us on the show today. Today is Saturday, the 8th of February. Today is the day that my own dear father was born. Sadly, he's no longer with us. He's passed on to become an ancestor. But today would have been his big day. So I want to rise up my father for giving life to myself, you know, and I certainly hope that I do fulfill my purpose while I'm here. Each and every one of us have purpose. Each and every one has a mission. Each and every one of us has something to accomplish while we're here on this earth. And, you know, let's hope that we're all striving towards achieving those goals, those aspirations, and those, you know, inner kind of roles that we have been given. Gratitude is a must. Hallelujah. Rise up, Kofi, for the informative lyrics. And when you rise, now rise on boss. Here on Galaxyafiwe, we are proud of our various African languages, and we have a lot of pride in the fact that we are Africans and that we have this beautiful culture of a multitude of languages. The way we dress, the colors, and the way that we express ourselves, we're a beautiful people. Yes, we are indeed, and we are a people on a mission. Sista Shanice in the house. We're here on Galaxy the Big G to inspire the family to come together, to work together in unity and as one, towards achieving a better tomorrow for our people, wherever we may be in the universe. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. Wherever we are in the universe, and, you know, social media, the telecommunication systems that we have during these times makes it easier for us as a people to be linking up. And so it's important that we do so, because we've got so much in common with our brothers and sisters on the continent, with our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, with our brothers and sisters in North, East, South and West. Wherever we are, you know, we are experiencing the, you know, similar challenges as a people, because the systems that have been designed and constructed that we live within, that we're expected to, abide by and adhere to, have been designed, not with our interests at heart.
Hello?
Yes, Sister Wynne, please continue.
Sister Shanice, I'm having difficulty hearing you. Just to repeat, I'm doing a presentation on my art on Friday the 14th at PASBF Workshop, 336 Brixton Road. I'd love for the community to come out and share the evening with me, and so that I can share with you what I've learned so far about my art, our own spiritual system, and how important it is for us going forward. Again, thank you for time and space, my sister. Blessed love.
Thank you so much, Sister Wynne. So, thank you so much, Sister Wynne. Rise yourself up for walking in your calling. Sister Wynne is going to be doing a presentation this coming Friday, the 14th of February. And the topic is Ma'at, Mother Justice. Who or what is Ma'at? And you can get tickets. It's a free event, but you do need to register. So go on to Eventbrite and search for Ma'at, Mother of Justice, and then you can register for that event. Okay, this coming Friday, the 14th of February, from 7 through to 10 p.m. I'm going to bring my guest in just after I announce the dates for Auntie Jean's African Culture Market. That's going to be happening next Sunday, the 16th of February. And it's a new venue. It's the EMLM Centre at 5 Rosenthal Road, Rushy Green, Catford, SE6 2BX. Okay, and that starts from 1 p.m. in the afternoon through to 9 p.m. One more quick announcement. Date for your diary. And that is Sunday, the 15th of March. We will be having our next Summit of Solutions meeting. And the summit theme is UK Diaspora Opportunities in Africa. Okay, so as we know, Russia have their Russia-Africa Summit. The US have their US-Africa Summit. The UK-Africa Summit. The China-Africa Summit. The Indian-Africa Summit. Well, we, the diaspora, okay, need to be having our UK Diaspora Summit, and we need to be talking to our African brothers and sisters as well. As hopefully people here are feeling the heat. We was just talking about Windrush and the deportations that are happening. They are deporting people like, they can't deport us quick enough. And, we don't want to sit there and wait till they're knocking on our door to deport us before we look to see what opportunities exist across the pond, okay? But we'll be talking more about that. So, on today's community talk show, family, we have a guest from across the pond, as we say, all the way from the USA. Welcome to Galaxyafiwe, the only de-brainwashing station. So, my sis, please introduce yourself to the Galaxy family.
Well, I am attorney Tonya Saafir-Ankomah from the United States, a descendant of enslaved and kidnapped Africans who were brought out of Africa to this side of the world. I am a mother, a wife. I have 5 children, 3 grandchildren. My children range of age from 30 down to 10 years old. And woo! I am in love with African people and want to do all that I have within my power to help our people rise above the economic and social oppression that we are suffering throughout the world. I am the founder and CEO of the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program. And that's what we're here to talk about. It's the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program. How we're going to help our people who want to repatriate get back to Africa.
Absolutely. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, my sis. And yes, interestingly enough, I came across the program when I was in the Gambia because I met one of your staff members, one of the members of your team, and she was due to be on one of my shows, but then she had to go over to Dakar, so I missed her. So and then I came across yourself after watching you being interviewed on Irritated Genie's show. Rise up, Irritated Genie, every time. Okay, caller 926. I'm not accepting any calls at the moment. Let me just have a little conversation with our guest, Sister Ya, and then I'll open up the lines at about 11 a.m. Okay, Galaxy family, I want you to hear from our sister about the great works that she's doing, because this is something that we'll be able to get involved in as well. So callers, please hold your calls until after we've had a bit of a conversation with our sis and got to know a bit about her and what she's doing. So back to our sis Ya. You mentioned the Sankofa project, this program. Tell me, what made you decide to create the and set up the Sankofa program?
Well, let me go back a little bit in time. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear.
Okay. I was a criminal defense attorney here in the United States, and I became very disheartened and disillusioned by what I was observing in terms of how our people are disproportionately sentenced, incarcerated, targeted in the criminal justice system here in the United States. And I felt very helpless, seeing this on a daily basis, and it's happening. It's been happening ever since we came out of enslavement, and it's still happening. And all across the United States, Black people are disproportionately targeted and given harsher sentences. We have everyday brothers being released now after spending 25, 30 years in prison for things they had not committed. And so I just basically got tired and I couldn't take it anymore. So I packed up my children and I moved to the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I became an assistant prosecutor over there. And I moved somewhere because I wanted to go somewhere where it was predominantly Black people, because I was thinking at the time, well, if the judges are Black, if the police are Black, if everybody's Black, then I won't be seeing this discrimination, And while that's true, in the Virgin Islands, because it is a Black island predominantly, and Black people are in charge from the governor on down to just every level. I was seeing something else. I was seeing Black people hurting Black people, and that made me sad,
Yeah.
Even though I understand I understand why our people have this self-hatred. It's something that's been put inside of us over centuries. And but it was just too much for me to see it all the time, day in and day out. So I needed a sabbatical. I said to my husband, I need to go on a hiatus. I need to get away. And I said I want to go to Ghana, which my husband is Ghanaian. And so he was here working, and he said, if that's what you need, go ahead. So I packed up the children again, and we moved to West Africa, to Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, while Africa has problems, it was the best experience of my life.
Wow.
I never experienced the level of freedom and happiness that I experienced while living there. And I stayed there with the children for 2 years. And so while I was there, what I observed was that nobody ever wanted to leave. People who were coming from the diaspora, from the Caribbean, from UK, from North America. Nobody, when it was time to go home, nobody wanted to leave. Nobody wanted to leave. But there's a problem for younger people to be able to stay, because the vast majority of people who are able to repatriate successfully and stay are elderly people who've reached retirement age, and who are receiving pensions and things like that. And they can stay because they have that reoccurring monthly income to sustain them. And not to mention, their money goes much farther in Africa than it does in North America or in Europe. And so the younger people who had not reached retirement age are struggling to stay. And they work, they try to get something going. If it's not successful, or the money runs out, then they have to come back to the West, or to try to make some more money, and then try to go back again and get something going. And it's just a struggle, and it turns the repatriation process into something that's almost unattainable for the average person, right? Unless you're already independently wealthy, somewhat, or you've reached retirement. Well, I said, I don't want to see, we shouldn't have to wait until we're 65 to get home to Africa to enjoy it. There has to be a way that our people can get there and be sustainable. So I started thinking, and I said, you know what? Well, the vast majority of our people that are out in the diaspora, living, working, are just trying to survive. They're living hand to mouth.
Yeah.
They're working, they're getting their checks, they're paying bills, and they're waiting for the next check so they can pay bills again. And I said, well, while we may not have a lot of money, I'm talking about the bulk of us.
Yeah.
While we may not have a lot of money individually, collectively, we have a lot of money.
Yes, we do.
All we have to do is the same thing that the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey got millions of people to do without the internet over 100 years ago, is to practice group economics. What we must do for the sake of our people is pool our resources. Other races of people do this without any problem, and they lift each other up. So I'm saying we as Black people, no matter where we are, have to practice this same type of mentality. Let me take my few pennies, you take your few pennies, and so on and so forth. And once millions of us put our pennies together, then we can make a change for our people. And so that is the mentality behind the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program. It's a grassroots movement to get our people to pool small amount of money. We're asking our people, no matter where they are in South America, because the program is not just for Black Americans. This program is for children of Africa who are in the diaspora as a result of the transatlantic slave trade, who are suffering economically, politically, socially, in every way that these people have attempted to keep us down for the past 400 years, and you're sick and tired of it. Well, I'm saying we have another option, and that option is Africa. Let's pull our pennies together and let's go home. So we're asking brothers and sisters to commit to $1 a month, $1, whatever that is in your currency, the equivalent of, whether you're in South America, the Caribbean, United States, North America, or in Europe. Pool our resources, and then what we want to do, once we reach a minimum of $1 million coming in a month, which is not a lot, we want to start repatriating 100 families back to Africa every 6 months. And what we're going to do, we're going to get them set up in business. So Once we reach our financial goal, we move into phase 2. We will make our application available on the website for people to download it. They fill it out. They submit it back with a business plan, because we cannot go to Africa looking for jobs. That's just not going to happen. There are plenty of brothers and sisters in Africa who don't have jobs, who are highly educated and highly skilled. We cannot go home competing with them for jobs. We have to go home as job creators. Okay? So what the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program is going to do is we're going to select 100 families every 6 months for repatriation. We're going to provide them with 6 months housing for free, 6-month stipend so that they can, take care of their transportation, their food needs, their utility needs. We're going to pay for their immigration to get them, we're going to assist them and pay for their residency, as well as we're going to pay and get their business registered in the African country. And then we're going to give up to $40,000 seed capital to start a business. So, but with their application, they do have to submit a business plan, because we have to know what you're going to do when you get there, and we're going to be in place to help you make it, successful. So all you have to do, Sister Shanice, once you step foot out of that airport, whether it be in Ghana, Sierra Leone, Gambia, Senegal, or Nigeria, those are the countries that we're going to start with. But as the program grows, we want to include other countries, because we want to give our people options of where they want to go. Once you step foot on that airport, we're going to be there to greet you and get you set up. And for 6 months, all you have to do is focus on that business and making that business sustainable. You don't have to worry about anything else. We're literally going to hold your hand and get you sustainable so that you and your family can stay on the continent without worry or hassle. Another thing, prior to repatriating you, a lot of our people do not know how to run a business. So we have a team in place. We'll put you through a business development course to teach you how to run a business, right? We're going to be working with, I'm in talks with Dr. Harnett. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She does.
Yes, I am.
Business boot camp, where she teaches people about how to do business in Africa. What are good businesses for the African continent? She takes a lot of people over. She has a lot of wonderful connections. So we're in talks with her to implement some of her courses into our business development program. Okay, and so we're going to make sure you know how to run a business before you even step foot on the African continent. Then also, we want to put you through a cultural repatriation assistance course, because you have been away for 400-500 years. A lot of our people have to be re-Africanized in the brain. Okay, they don't know anything about being in Africa. I've met a lot of people who've never been, but they feel this calling to go home to Africa. But there's some cultural things that they need to, be aware of. So not anything, out of the ordinary, but just if you've never been to Africa, or particularly West Africa, or predominantly Muslim countries, then you don't know that you don't hand anybody anything with your left hand, because that's considered offensive. Just things like that. We want to talk to them about malaria, early detection, treatment, things like that. Just different things that you need to be aware of before you get to the African continent. Also, we want to provide an adopted family. I believe, based on my experience, that it's very important to be attached to a family on the continent of Africa that helps you in the cultural integration process. Somebody that when holidays come, you have a family that you can be with, go to their festivals and, in their communities and things like that. So somebody to help you when you're just going to the market and you don't know what things cost, to make sure you're not taking advantage of, because that does happen to foreigners and to a lot of our brothers and sisters on the continent. We are foreigners, okay? We've been gone for a long time. And so, we just want to make sure that you have somebody with you that if you're going to be across the world from your biological family, then you need another family over there on the continent of Africa to be a part of. So what we want to do, Sister Shanice, is a whole, complete, holistic approach to repatriation. We want to cover every aspect of it to make sure as best we can that when we put these people on the continent and help them start these businesses, that they are successful, that they don't, won't have a problem with staying and maintaining, because that's the issue that our people are having right now. So that's the program in a nutshell, Sister Shanice.
Wonderful. What a wonderful program it is. Yeah, what a great description of a wonderful program that our sister has introduced. And my sis, and you talk about this program, there's this repatriation program, but there are a lot of us, my sis, here in the UK who have never been to Africa. You've been to Africa, and what a lot of people here, the vision that they have of Africa tends to be what the aid agencies put out on the television about Africa. And here you are, on the radio, suggesting that people get involved in this program and start thinking about going back to Africa, a place that many have never been. Please just share with us your experience of Africa and why you think people should be leaving these godforsaken lands for Africa.
For peace of mind. That's first and foremost. There are a number of studies that have been done, particularly here in the United States, that talk about how living under system of racism and white supremacy is affecting the mental and physical health of Black people. So for our own survival and well-being, we must begin to consider leaving and separating ourselves from people who seek to destroy us and hurt us. In a situation where your life is being threatened and endangered, you have two natural instincts. One is to fight or flight. That's it. So we have to decide if, we're not organized enough really to stay here and fight. We don't control the system. We don't control the resources here. But what we can do is leave and go somewhere where we will be welcomed and loved and have peace of mind. Mm-hmm. We can help build Africa. Like I said before, Africa is not perfect. It has problems, but there are problems that if we as Black people in the world who have just a vast amount of skills and education, know-how, we can help build the Africa that we want for ourselves and go back home to our mother's land, our fatherland, and work towards something that can benefit us as a race of people. Okay, we don't control the resources. We don't control, just like I heard you talking before I came on about Boris Johnson wanting to send people who've been living in
that's right,
to places that they haven't been to. They're not voluntarily going. We're saying, let's voluntarily go back home. Nobody has to kick us out. We can go home and create something for ourselves. Our people are just not treated very well. That's the first and foremost. And then it's imperative that our people understand that while things are not absolutely perfect in Africa, it's beautiful. It's peaceful. It's
yes.
I can't even describe to you.
Yeah.
There's so much beauty there as well.
Yeah.
Potential. Every natural resource that you need is there. Every opportunity is there. We see right now, if you listen to the economists, and this is another key thing that I want to point out. These world economists, these think tanks, they're all saying the exact same thing, that Africa is rising. Africa is where the emerging markets are. Now, if we don't do something as a people, who's going to reap the benefits of that? Other races of people. The Lebanese are going over there, opening up businesses. The Chinese, everybody is going over there because they see Africa is the future. And if we in the diaspora who were forcibly removed, who are still living under oppression, if we don't get ourselves together and work collectively, we're going to miss out. While, they kept us out in Europe. They kept us out, economically from building that generational wealth over here, in South America and North America. But they can't keep us out in Africa. All we have to do is get ourselves together. And I do not want to see my people who have a birthright to Africa to miss out on that growth that's happening on the continent of Africa. While all these other economies are slowing down, Africa's economy is rising up. Who should reap the benefits of that more than us? And our brothers and sisters on the continent would rather it be us. They would rather that we be the ones that come over there and open businesses. They rather work for us and with us than for the Lebanese or the Chinese who see them as something less than human beings. They rather it be us. The governments would rather it be our contractors that come over there and build. But our people are just so, they're not thinking properly when in terms of Africa. So we have to also go on a mission to change the minds of our people about, what's available to us and the possibilities on the continent of Africa. Akon said, and it's true, where else can a black man go, start a business, and it become a Fortune 500 company in, 5 years, except Africa? So Africa, not only will it give us peace of mind, there's a lot of potential to change our lives and the lives of our families economically as well, because it's been so grossly underdeveloped. When the Europeans were there, they weren't trying to build up Africa. All the roads lead out of the interior. All the good roads lead out of the interior, where they were extracting minerals and extracting resources out. So there's a potential now, because they have been so grossly underdeveloped. While everybody else is old, their cities are old. Even here in America, infrastructure is falling apart. But Africa has the potential now to rise up in the midst of all of this and be the leader that we once were in the world. We could do it again. And I believe the diaspora is the key. The diaspora is the key to making it happen.
My sis, we absolutely agree with you on that. Are you hearing me, my sis? I can see some flickers up here. Are you hearing me? My sis, are you hearing me? I'm not hearing myself now. Are you hearing me, sis? Okay, let me try this microphone. Are you hearing me, sis?
Okay, I can hear you.
You can hear me through this microphone, but you wasn't hearing me just a little while before.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, well, I've got some soldiers in the house who are here trying to sort out things. We've got Chief Pakam Rabai, Rise Up Chief, and we've got Dr. Abu. So hopefully the problem will be detected. So it's a bit of a sort of technical search going on right now to try and put things right. So yes, my sis, absolutely agree with you. It's the same here in the UK. Most of London is old London. They've just recently regenerated some areas, and there's a process of regeneration going on. But Africa has the potential, to be that new frontier, that new city. We built cities before in the past. We can build them again. We are just so in tune and at one with what you're saying, my sis, and we have a mantra here, only we can do for we. It's up to us.
Absolutely.
Up to us to do what needs to be done. Okay, so thank you, just for giving that message about Africa and the opportunities and the potential there. And you're right, others have been looking to Africa and have been taken from Africa, for centuries now. And we agree with you here in the UK. What a lot of us do, of the Galaxy listeners agree. We are the key to Africa's future and development. And if we don't act now, if we don't act now in an organized and structured way, then we're going to have a situation where, our people are going to be getting deported back all over back to Caribbean islands and back to other parts of Africa, and we'll be coming back unorganized, unstructured, and unable to, make the impact that we can otherwise have if we are returning in an organized way. So rise yourself up for this project and this initiative. So you gave us an overview of why you started up, your reasons and your observations for starting up the Sankofa program, and you've mentioned that it's $1, or for us probably a £1 a month monthly payment, and you've mentioned a scheme where you're planning at the right time to take 100 people back to Africa every month, and set them up, pay for their expenses. It sounds phenomenal. Okay, so let me add Chief Pakambrabai. Okay, so yes, okay. So you talked about the scheme, and an amazing scheme where people are going to get the opportunity to return to Africa in an organized way with support networks in place. It sounds phenomenal. Now, how can we here in the UK, I'm getting feedback now though, how can we here in the UK support this program? Obviously financially by donating that £1 a month, but are there any other ways that maybe there could be a UK arm that could, support and assist with the development of this particular initiative? I don't know if you've got any thoughts around that, my sis.
There's a lot of feedback.
Yeah, sorry about that. If you can just press through it, go ahead. We're hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, I don't know if I heard all of it. You said how can...
Oh, I can hear the echoes. Let me... Sorry, we got the echo feeding back.
Hello?
Yeah, it's echoing. Yeah, sorry about that, my sis. We've got our engineers at work in the background, so please just continue and press on. Yeah, how can we support the program? How can we here in the UK who are, experiencing this oppression like you are in the USA, who have a vision to return to Africa, many of whom maybe can't afford to do so either, how can we get involved in a scheme like this to be also involved in making that transition and Sankofering back to the mamaland?
Well, we visit our website at www.sankofarepat.com, and there's a donate button there. They can click the donate button and sign up using their debit card, bank debit card, and commit to a minimum of $1, the equivalent of $1 a month. We also have a PayPal for those who rather just send, a lump sum donation. Some people are doing, and the PayPal is Sankofa Repatriation Assistance, then the letter P. So that's Sankofa Repatriation Assistance, P at gmail.com. So for those who want to send their donations that way. And also, by spreading the word, telling our brothers and sisters about the program, encouraging them to visit the website and to also support it. This is a very historic movement. There's nothing other than the closest thing that's ever been done to it is what Marcus Garvey attempted to do, and he was sabotaged. So we really need the people to get behind the program and support it. We're not asking for a lot. Some people are giving more than $1. Some of us have more to give, and that's fine. But we set it at $1 a month because we want everybody to be able to participate in it.
We hear you on that, my sis. Yes, indeed. Just checking if you're able to hear me.
Yes.
But faintly. Okay, let me open up the lines now, because I think that when our callers call in, they'll probably be able to interact with you. I may not be able to be heard as clearly as I would like, but our callers should be able to hear you. So let me open up the lines and invite callers to call in to have a conversation with Sister Ya about this project that she has started and is aiming to build and grow, so that we could be repatriating 100 people a month back to Africa, and to help them to start up in business, have somewhere to live with business support, etc., etc. This is just such a well thought through and rounded program, and as you can hear, it's going to need a lot of support for it to work. And what she's asking for, is hardly anything. And I think it's an amount that everybody should be able to afford. So, let's see what we can do to support this initiative. And the website is www.sankofarepat.com. And all you need to do is to commit to at least $1 a month or £1 a month. The phone number that you can call in on, and apologies in advance if you can't hear me, but I'm going to see if you can hear our caller, and if you can put your question directly to our Sister Ya on the phone. So the number that you need to call in on is +44 207 193 0174. So if you have any questions for our Sister Ya, give us a call and put your questions directly to our beautiful sis who's calling in from the USA. I think, if you've been listening to the program for the last half hour, you would have heard our sis talk about that repatriation program and the reasons behind it. And I'm sure, all of the regular Galaxy listeners are fully aware, and appreciate of why it is that we need to be Sankofering, and why it is we need to be looking to go back home. And what's great about this program is that, once it gets off the ground and they've reached their financial goal and they start repatriating 100 families a month. Wow, can you imagine, when it gets to that place? And then there's all of the programs and the support that goes with it. Yeah, the training, the management, the business management support, that's absolutely fantastic. So the lines are open. Give us a call on 0207 193 0174. We're experiencing similar economic constraints here. We're hearing about the government's determination to be deporting our brothers and sisters back to wherever they come from, because they're going to be labeling our people now as hardened criminals. And, these may be people who are innocent. As our sister was saying, when she was, in the court system, she was seeing so many of our people who were getting harsh sentences, who weren't getting a fair trial or a fair deal. These are going to be some of the people here in the UK who have experienced similar miscarriages of justice, who are then, after serving their time, probably going to be deported back to where they came from. So the writing is on the wall. We need to organise ourselves as a people, to go back home to the mama land. Okay, so come on, callers, give us a call on 0207 193 0174. There are many listeners that have never been to the mama land. Have you been? If you have, what has your experience been? Give us a call. There are many who are fearful of going to the motherland. Are you hearing me better now, sis?
It's perfect now.
Okay, yeah, I can see the levels up there as well, which are going on now, which weren't there before. Callers, the lines are now open. We're no longer having the technical problems. Give us a call. Share with us your experience of Africa. Tell us about this scheme. Is it fit for purpose? Is it, likely to deal with what it has been set up to do? Do you have any suggestions? Our sis was talking about the economic opportunities opportunities in Africa, and the emerging markets there. She's mentioned about others that are going over and taking advantage of those opportunities. We know about all of this. We talk about the Chinese going to Africa. We talk about the Lebanese. We talk about the Europeans over there. And as our sister, even from America, is also talking, as we talk about here, the fact that, when they go to Africa, it's about them exploiting Africa. It's about them taking the resources out of Africa. But when we go to Africa, it's about what we can contribute towards the development, growth and upliftment of our Mama Africa land. So, we talk about reparations, and that is important, and we'll continue to fight for our reparations, but also simultaneously we need to prepare for our repatriation, because even if there comes a point where we do get reparations, if we do during our lifetime, we need to have a repatriation plan. Okay, so come on, callers, give us a call and let's have this discussion about the opportunities that exist for us on the Mama land. Maybe you've never been, give us a call and share with us your thoughts and opinions on what is needed in order for you to, make that trip and to look to Sankofa. What's stopping you from Sankofa, from going back to Mama Africa? And if you have been recently, give us a call and share with us your experience of Mama Africa land. There are still so many of our people who have yet to visit Mama Africa, and we need to be sharing the stories of our experience. My sister, the programs that you were talking about, the reorientation program, so that people could familiarize themselves with the culture of the country, etc. Are you rolling out those programs in New York now or in America now before people repatriate, or are you actually waiting until the families are identified before you start rolling out the programs?
Now, the programs will be, the families that are selected will be put through the program prior to repatriation. Mm-hmm. But as part of our spreading awareness about the campaign, we are doing a city-to-city tour, which we're launching here in D.C. On May 16th and 17th, and where we'll be discussing with the community, giving them proper education, trying to dispel some of the negative propaganda and beliefs that they have towards Africa. You cannot think negatively of Africa as an African person of descent, because then you internalize it as self-hatred for yourself. So we're going to do a city-to-city tour with guest speakers in every city. It will be African drumming, just a African cultural expo, African dance, African food, talking to the community about Africa in a positive light, and the business opportunities that exist. So we're going to be doing that in between repatriation. We're going to start that now. We're going to go city to city. So right now we're looking, after we do the one in DC here in May, that's the first one. Then we'll move to another city, and we're looking at Miami being the next city. And then we also want to include coming to the UK.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And going to the Caribbean, the different islands, and putting this program on for our people so that they can start to feel positive and think positively about Africa. So we'll be doing that.
Brilliant. Definitely what's needed. So please listen offline, and we invite you to come back and to respond to any questions that come in from the community about your program, or any comments or statements that are made. You may want to call back in and respond. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please keep it locked, and rise yourself up, because we know, when you called in, it was like 5 a.m. EST time where you are. So rise yourself up, my sis. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
One love. Okay, so callers, the lines are free now, so you can call in. And my apologies that you were unable to have a conversation with our sis, but as you know, we've got a long-standing problem here where we're unable to add some calls to other lines. But anyway, we've got Brother Adam on the line. Rise yourself up, Brother Adam. Greetings.
Yes, good morning.
Grand Rising, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm excellent. Yes, and yourself?
I am good. Are you hearing me okay?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, fantastic. Welcome to the Saturday Community Talk Show, Brother Adam. Go ahead and make your contribution.
Yes, good morning to the sister calling from America, everybody who's in the studio, and the other listener too.
Thank you.
Just wanted to pass a comment. I've been to Africa quite a few times, and what I've realized is a certain thing, which maybe the sister and perhaps even yourself might be able to comment on. And what I've noticed is that when the Lebanese, I've been to Ghana a couple of times, and I see that, yes, the Lebanese people setting up supermarkets and shops, etc., especially the supermarkets, seem to be doing very well with that over there. And then when I went to Gambia, I've seen some more Chinese people coming there, and Indians as well. Okay, so I've seen that type of thing happening. And what I've realized is that the Chinese will sell to anybody, but they only buy from themselves. Lebanese will sell to anybody, but they only buy from each other. And the Indians will sell to anybody, but they'll only buy from each other. So we know that when it comes down to that understanding of economics and social cohesion, we know that money then, therefore, which they only which circulates around them because they only buy from each other. Who, God knows how many times that money's circulating in their community, which never goes out, which never leaves their community. Look at the amount of money then, therefore, that they're accumulating over the years that they're doing that practice. Yes, sell to anybody you like. Doesn't matter what they look like. They could be a Martian. Sell to them, but you only buy from each other. And so we know that money will circulate. Okay, so I've seen that happening in Ghana, and I've seen it happening in the Gambia too. So what I'm concerned with is, how are we going to guarantee or make sure that when our people leave America or leave the UK or wherever, the Caribbean, to go to Africa, how are we going to guarantee that when we do set up our shops, our people are only going to buy from us? Because I'll sell to anybody, yes? It doesn't matter to me who they are. I'll sell to anybody. But when it comes down to guaranteeing that we're only going to buy from each other, how can we guarantee that? Because that's the only way, that's one of the most solid ways, of us making sure that money stays amongst our community and increases and accumulates and builds up. So, I don't know if you understood the question. Would you like me to repeat it? Hello?
Yes, we're listening here as well, and you just triggered a little bit of a discussion in here in the studio, my brother Adam. So yes, very important, and this is the economic training that we don't get, and the economic training that we need to be providing to our children from a very young age. They need to understand the power of that money, when they are empowered, when they've got money in their hands. And it's important that we do think about who we're spending our money with, and you gave those illustrations of your observations of the various ethnic groups that sell to everybody but only buy with each other. And then with us, to an embarrassing extent, it's the reverse. We buy from everybody except ourselves, so that economic enterprise training and awareness is important. And Chief was saying he's got a young man who's interested in becoming an entrepreneur and wants some business on entrepreneurial training. So if there are any organizations out there that are providing business enterprise and entrepreneurial training right now for young people, please do get in touch. Chief has got a young man who's interested in such a training, and there are others out there, I'm sure, who have got young people in their family who they would like to be educating along those lines. And I'm sure our sis, when she calls back in, she can respond to some of the questions that you've asked there, my brother. But we are the ones who are going to have to change our spending habits and who we spend with, and our mindset. Yes,
because it comes down to the mindset. Because I believe that we are essentially just training up one generation after the next to carry out the practices that the previous generation carried out. Because I live in Leicester, okay, and I remember when we were small, we used every Saturday morning we used to go to a place called the Caribbean Supermarket in Highfields. Okay, Caribbean Supermarket. When you listen to it, it sounds like a lively place, lovely place, full of Caribbean food, etc., etc. And you think to yourself, yes, I can't wait to get there, right? When you get there, as soon as you walk in, the place pretty much it smells very much of curry. Okay, the people who own the business are Indians. So therefore, they cook their food, etc., which is like got a lot, obviously got that kind of smell to it, and it's like you're walking into an Indian shop. But when you look at the products, all of the products there are Caribbean products. And I remember when we were small, we used to go there every Saturday morning, and other families used to go there on Saturday mornings too. And our parents used to chat to each other and talk to each other, how you've been getting on, what's the week been like, etc. And I believe that as we were growing up and we started to have our children, we then also went to the same Caribbean supermarket on a Saturday morning and then bought the food from them, and we would chat to each other and see how you've been getting on, etc. And I believe that another generation is going to come along and do exactly the same thing, go to the Caribbean supermarket on a Saturday morning, chatting to each other, how you've been getting on, buy the food. A lot of times it comes down to, like some of our people will argue where, they'll get some food which is rotten or is outdated or whatever, and they'll say, well, Mr. Patel, how come you're selling me this? Patel will say, oh, this and that and that and this, and then, hey, okay, well, I'll give it you a bit cheaper or whatever. But the fact that he was trying to sell the rotten food in the first place, or the outdated food in the first place, says a lot. And our people would buy it, argue, make a fuss, but then they'll be lining up again next Saturday to do exactly the same thing. Buy food from Mr. Patel, and then chat and reason with each other, and then next Saturday to do the same thing all over again. So the point I'm trying to make is that we're conditioning new generations to carry out the same practice that the previous generation has done. So what needs to be done is, how do we counteract that? Hello?
Chief has just left the studio there. Yes, my brother, we need to set up that community again. And I think that, if we are repatriating to Africa and we're starting afresh, then I think we can get that community spirit going where, we're buying from each other, we're gravitating towards the Caribbean stores or the African stores, and it's a whole education program that needs to be ongoing on a daily basis, isn't it? But what a beautiful time that was during our parents' generation, when they used to shop with the Caribbean shops because the Caribbean shops were there and they were being supported. My dad had a shop. He inspired my brothers to go into business as well. And when our children see us in business, when our children see us operating independent of the system, they follow in our footsteps as well. So, my brother Adam, there's some works to be done there. I mean, I don't know if you have any thoughts and ideas about how we get maybe something rolling here. You heard our sister talking about going from city to city with their program, which is also, educating our people as they go. What thoughts and ideas do you have about what we could practically be doing here? And, we got to be mindful of people's levels of energy as well, because our people are just too comfortable, I fear. But anyway, what are your thoughts, my brother?
Okay, well, I didn't really get to hear that part of what Sister said because I didn't hear the whole of the interview. But, I go back to what Professor Chinwezu said, that the first and most important aspect of reparation is the self-repair or self-reparation. Mm-hmm. So once that is being done, then I believe that everything else will follow in its wake. Mm-hmm. Until that is done, I think that we're going to just be running before we can crawl. Mm-hmm. And what would potentially happen after that is that we realize that we haven't got a true foundation or a proper foundation to do what we need to do. And as a result of that, it might look like it's going to succeed. And then as it gets to the 11th hour, as it gets to that point when it's going to, the ultimate point, it's just going to start to waver and falter and crumble and fall to pieces. And we're going to be saying, well, how did that happen? The reason it happened because there was no proper foundation. The proper foundation that needs to be established first is the self-repair. If the people aren't repaired, all we're going to do is we're just going to be just like going on thinking something's going to work, and it's going to collapse. Yeah, because the people were not prepared in the first place. Mm-hmm. See, we can go to Africa. That's what I was saying. We can go to Africa and set up our businesses. But if we find that if for example, say for example, 5 million of us went to Africa and we set up our shops and our businesses. but then our people were still choosing to go and buy from the Indian, the Lebanese, the Chinese, the white man, etc., then what's going to happen to our business people who will set those shops up? The shops are going to close down. And I mean to say that, like, you know, we're not going to be in any better position in Africa than as we are over here. Because I mean, I've spoken to many of our brothers and sisters in Africa, and they will say, listen, one of the best routes that you can take is live in England, and the money that you make from England, you make sure that like you invest it in Africa, so you can go backward and forward from England to Africa, and then you can set your business up, work with families in Africa. Maybe another thing we need to do is start getting married to some of our family in Africa as well. I'm talking about proper marriages where, like, you know, we will marry our family in Africa, and, you know, they can take care of our business in Africa while we are raising money here in the UK. Yes, and we can go backward and forward and have proper marriages instead of this, you know, this sexing woman and sexing man and picnic here and there. And no, we need to get rid of that. That has to stop. What we need to do is start getting back to marriage, where there is something that we are truly fighting for, and our children are coming from stable households. That's what we need to start getting back to as well. But what I'm saying, because to go back to your point is, we need to start getting this thing sorted out where we are repaired. And once we get, you know, people who are repaired, we know that we can rely on them, and we know we can trust them to go forward and do the work that need to be done, because they're the ones that's taken the step that's needed to the most important step, which is the self-reparation. You know, and once they've done that, then we're on the road to recovery. On the road to recovery. So, you know, they'll know, well, like, look, I've declared, I'm making the declaration that I'm working towards doing something to repair myself. And that's what I keep on pushing. I hope you don't think it's self-publicity, but, you know, the work that I'm trying to do with the laws of Ma'at and my Facebook group, 42 Steps to Success, it's a course that can be used where we can say, right, it's a step-by-step process of how we can repair ourselves. So I believe once we make that declaration to ourselves, right, I am now going to try to repair myself, I'm going to fix myself as of today, then that person can start working sincerely and genuinely towards becoming the person that they can be, the person that they're supposed to be. But we've got to make that declaration to ourselves, because if you never make that declaration, I don't think that you're ever really going to be repaired. I think we really need to be able to say, right, as of today, I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to go through a repair process, and I'm going to carry on doing that throughout the rest of my life, and now I'm on the road to recovery. You know, we may never reach the stage of perfection, you know, and probably we don't necessarily need to, but we need to be on that road where we're saying, I'm doing what I can do to repair myself. Because if that self-reparation doesn't work, or if it isn't even entered into, I just believe that we're going to be building you know, like an existence on the edge of a crumbling cliff. So just imagine, picture it in your mind. You're trying to build an existence or build a civilization, and somebody said, let's build it right on the edge of the cliff. And you can look, when you look at the cliff, you can see all of the debris falling down. Yes, you can see it falling down, you can see it crumbling, but somebody will say, no, let's build it there. What do you think is going to happen ultimately? The whole thing is, the whole cliff the cliff face is going to collapse, isn't it? And anything that's built on top of that cliff face will also collapse with it. So what I'm saying is that, you know, we need to be able to do the self-reparation, make that a priority, and then once we've got that as a foundation, I believe that anything that we build on top of that will succeed. But if we try to do it the other way around, like say we're going to do economics first, or we're going to do politics first, or we're going to do academic education first, I guarantee you it's not going to work.
Right. Self-repair. Absolutely important, and recognizing that we need to be repaired, recognizing that we are a people who have suffered the most atrocities, you know, our ancestors, what they went through, and that's still in our DNA. We are still traumatized by it. And not only that, even though we've been through all of what we've been through, you know, a lot of our African countries and our African people also went through it and are experiencing the brunt of the that awful period of enslavement and colonization. And we do continue to be brutalized as a people. We're seeing it every day on the television, through the media. There's psychological brutalization as well. And we have to recognize that all of this is going on. And the reality is that a lot of our people don't even realize, that we are victims of this really horrendous system that is there to try and kill and destroy us. And so they've got to come to that realization that they do need repair. And then once they've got to that realization, and we've all got to that realization, to make that declaration, as you say, my brother, to self-repair, which is a process. It's not going to happen overnight. And many of us are already on that road and trying, and we're at different stages on the road to self-recovery and self-repair as well. And when we are in our fullness and are in our right mind, we will only buy from each other. We will only support each other, and we will, put our race first. Because if you love yourself, you'll love your brother and you'll love your sister. If you love your brother and your sister, you'll want to support them. You'll want to see them do well. You'll want to see them grow and rise. And that's where we've got to get to.
We'll be able to say that we're following the same lifestyle.
Yes.
I'm not going to want to see my sister who's following the same lifestyle as me not succeed.
Right.
I'm not going to want to see my brother who's following the same lifestyle as me not succeed. So what I'm saying is that, once we're following the same lifestyle or a similar lifestyle, we'll be able to say, right, he is truly my brother, or she truly is my sister, because I know that we think alike. I know I can rely on them. I know that that person's not going to stab me in the back and try to ruin me.
Yes.
I know that sister is not going to do some wickedness or try to murder me or harm me or my child or whatever, because I know that she's following the same thing as me.
Yes.
It takes me right the way back to my point that I've been saying for years now. Stop following the ways of the foreigners. Give them back their lifestyle. Say we don't want your way of life anymore. We will follow our own lifestyle and our own way of life.
Yeah.
Study, practice, and teach the laws of Ma'at.
Rise yourself up, my brother. Thank you so much for your contribution today. One love. Yes, so that was an invaluable contribution there by our brother Adam, and it's all about us realizing that, we are a people who have been traumatized, victims of hundreds of years of brutality, and that we do need to go through a process of self-repair. And the sooner we all realize that and get on that journey, the better off we will all be. I think I've got another caller on the line. Do I have caller 845 on the line?
Yes, you do.
Oh, wonderful. Greetings, caller. Please introduce yourself. Who do we have on the line?
Well, you don't know who I am?
Ah, sounds like Brother Kwame. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful, my sister.
Oh, welcome to today's Community Talk Show. Go ahead, my brother. Thank you for calling in.
Right. I think Brother Adam's original question is very unfair to people of Africa and also the carriers beyond. In the sense that this question was, how can we guarantee that when we go there and set up business, our people are going to buy from us?
Mm-hmm.
Right here in the UK and North America, we're screaming out of the lack of what you call patriotism of our own people. Right? They rather go and buy from everybody else but ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We have the same problems here. Yeah.
Right. So if we're supposed to be in the known, and we don't believe in self-preservation, i.e. buying from each other first and foremost, right? How are we going to accept people in Africa who's not on the level that we are at, going to be supporting African businesses, right? And he says that self-repair. We cannot just rely on one option. Yeah. We have to do a multi-pronged approach. Right? Yeah? It's like each individual out there say, all right, I'm going to be repairing myself. I'm not going to do no side of schools or this, that, and the other. Right? Everything's got to be happening simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We cannot just rely on one thing, because, all right, how long is it going to take us to self-repair? 5 years, 10 years? Right?
Mm-hmm.
After 10 years, what are we going to do? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, my brother, I hear what you're saying. on that. And I think what Brother Adam was saying, we all need to go through that process of self-repair, and it's a bit like a conveyor belt. We're all, or some escalators. We're all going to be on different stages, on different steps of that process of self-repair, and there'll be a whole pool at the bottom who don't even realize that they need to be repaired, and they're going to continue, spending their money with everybody who don't look like them, and be reluctant to support themselves. And then those who have gone through that process of repair are likely, we would hope, to do better. But then, on the other escalators, there are our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean, in Africa, etc., who have all gone through, a similar experience of brutalization and enslavement and castration and everything else, who are all still suffering the trauma of the 400-500 years of our enslavement. And then they've got to go through that process of self-repair as well before we come out as an enlightened group of people, who can do better. So, yeah, we're all at different stages. It's not going to happen overnight, but I think those who are going through or have gone through are going to have to lead the way. For us here in the UK, and those in the USA who are more enlightened will have to lead the way, and those on the mama land who are the enlightened ones are gonna have to be the ones to lead the way. Are gonna have to be the leading lights, leading by example. I don't know how else we can do it, but we must do it, that's for sure.
Right, I 100% agree that we have to lead the light, but like I say, we can't sit down and wait until this 10-year period is up. We have to continue to do whatever work we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, take for instance as an example, Auntie Jean has been crying out for the past 5 years now, is it, or 4 years, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long it is, for us to come together and get this building.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
She's still crying out.
Mm.
Right? And look how much of us out there who say we're and we.
Yes, my brother. I mean, nothing's going to happen overnight. It's difficult. It's difficult, and some things will happen within a year. Some will take 2, 3, 4 years. But the most important thing is hanging on in there and believing in that vision, in that dream. Until it does come to fruition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna have to come to fruition. Yeah, I mean, there are many of us with projects, and we're working hard behind the scenes, to get those projects off the ground and to get those projects happening. I'm just adding a few more callers to the group. Let's see if we've got Sister Wynn in the group. Sister Wynn, have I been able to successfully add you? Are you there, Sister Wynn? No, I haven't been able to add Sister Wynn. My apologies, I did try. But it looks as though we've got our Sister Yar back in the group. Sister Yar, are you there? Can you hear me? Sister Yar, are you able to hear me? Sister Tonya? Okay, alrighty. It looks as though they're in the group. I'm just going to try and add another caller trying to come in. Great.
If I put my phone down, and people might be able to get through.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you so much for your input. As always, my brother, rise yourself up, and we'll be listening to you on Monday from 10 to 1 a.m. here on the Big G, alongside Brother Cecil Gutsmore. Rise up. Okay, so we just heard from our brother Kwame there. And we're trying to, let me see, I've just realized I could do something else here as well. Yeah, so callers, the lines are now free. If you would like to join in, please give us a call. Sister Tonya, are you there?
Yes, can you?
Yes, you are. Fantastic. Greetings. Okay, let me try and add another caller, see if we can get a group conversation going on. Okay, so I've just, I think, added another caller to the group. Who do we have in the group? Brother Ade, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You good?
Wonderful. Yes, Brother Ade, great. And do I have caller 322? Do I have a caller with a number that ends 322? No? Okay. Okay, so we've got Brother Ade and we've got Sister Tonya.
Yeah, that's my number there.
Oh, yours ends 322. Wonderful. Brother Ade, welcome to the Big G. And we've got Sister Yar as well in the group. Welcome.
Yeah, well, I'm good. Yourself?
I'm good, my brother. The line's yours. You're live and direct to the Galaxy family.
Yeah, but it's funny that you spoke to Brother Kwame. I actually spoke on his show, on Monday. I think I did.
Uh-huh.
And the influence that's going around, especially in the Far East, in Southeast Asia, yeah?
Uh-huh.
I'm a bit worried that this thing here could, because I think we could, black people could be really immune to it. This thing was taken into our continent, I think it could cause a lot of problems. I believe so.
I hear you, my brother. But as we all know, this is a virus that was created in a laboratory. This is a virus that the CDC has patented. Yeah. And so, it's part of their depopulation agenda. It's part of their strategy to try and sabotage the Chinese economy. And yeah, you're right. There could be blowbacks, but the most important thing that our naturopathic doctors are advising is not to panic, because when you put your body in a panic mode, then you're letting down your immune system, and you're going to be more susceptible to contract anything that's going. Yeah, but you've got to keep your body in fight mode. Okay?
Exactly. This is what it is. But you see, unfortunately, I've seen the symptoms. It affects people. I mean, I've seen the common flu when they get over here. I mean, there's no remedy for it. It leaves you after a while.
Right.
This is something a bit more serious. That. I don't know, but I fear that, somebody, maybe one of our brothers and sisters been to China, they put the wellness to carry back to Africa. That is another problem. You see, prevention is always better than cure.
Absolutely. And the best prevention as well from these sicknesses and diseases is one, to steer far from them people. Yeah. 2, eat our own food, grow what we eat and eat what we grow, use our own herbs and Mother Nature for our healing, and not the pharmaceutical vaccines or any of their other, chemical injections and pills and things. And we've got to go back to nature. Our people used to live till well over 100 when we were at one with nature.
You see, so many of our people seem to like Chinese food. They seem to queue up from Ulaanbaatar to Timbuktu. I'm sure most of you Chinese, the 60-70% of their customers are people who look like me and you and everybody else. It's ridiculous,
It goes back to what Brother Kwame was saying, there's and what Brother Adam was saying. There's a lot of work that we need to do as individuals, wherever we are in the world, because of the trauma that we've suffered. A lot of us are out of our mind. If we were in our right mind, we wouldn't be eating, other people's foods, especially Chinese people food, because it's just so uncultured, and, I think we've all been exposed to the videos that have been going around that's been giving us an insight into the sorts of, delicacies, to put it that way, that the Chinese love to eat. And we know more so that, but, so yes, Brother Ade, we've got to do for self, and we've got to be aware, of the importance as well for us as a people, to be focusing on self. I absolutely agree.
I'm not a doctor directly, but I could understand that. I mean, a certain thing was good for the goose, it's not necessarily good for the gander.
Definitely.
I mean, things, they could bring to, we could become, our body might become non-resistant to it. African might not be, at the moment it's confined to Asia, although there's been other cases in several locations around that area. I mean, if you want to come to our continent, might not be able to, might not resist it.
Yes, I hear you, my brother, and that's because of, we know the reasons why that is. A lot of our African countries just don't have the infrastructural resources to be able to organize an adequate response to dealing with this problem. And this is where the diaspora, as our sis would say, is key as well. It's key for us to bring our skills, to bring our energies, back to the continent, because we could organize a clampdown almost overnight, and organize a strategy strategy and a plan for dealing with it, from entry to the airport to entry via sea, lock those down, get the training going on in all of the hospitals, get all the nurses and the doctors on red alert, get them with the right equipment that they need for testing, make sure there's training, everybody knows the symptoms, roll it out as health programs across the TV channel so that people know what to look out for. And at the same time, not to cause a scare either, but just to be precautious. Yeah. Okay, my brother, we hear the concerns that you have about the coronavirus and the potential for it to, find its way onto the continent. And we certainly hope that all the ministers of health in each of the African countries are talking to each other and have got some plan in place to prevent that from happening.
You have to put these people in a cage. This is what Wazungu are doing. They quarantine them in cages in somewhere in Liverpool area. Or whenever we go to which hospital, they quarantine them because they want to determine what it is,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the danger for the world that this thing could spread now far, for the sake of our race, for the sake of the decimation of the human race.
Yes. Well, let's hope the politicians see the dangers. I remember seeing an article to say that Jamaica had turned back a plane load of Chinese people that was coming into Jamaica. Let's hope that other African countries and Caribbean countries are doing the same. Rise up, my brother.
They turned them back. Another thing I want to quickly put onto into your gender there, right? The so-called richest woman in Africa, the Angolan women, the thief. She's a thief, obviously. The Angolan government are making going to issue a warrant for her because they actually freeze her assets because they say it's stolen loot. It's money that belongs to the people.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I don't see how two hands compare each other because how possibly can she be the richest woman when the money is stolen? She's a thief.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the word. The capital T. And unfortunately, no, from what I know, this over here, I know the stolen money. Once it's invested over here, it's very, very hard for Angola government.
We're having a problem with your line, Brother Ade. But yes, we hear you, and it goes back to what, Sister Wynne was talking about earlier, why her Sankofa program, her Ma'at program is so important. It goes back to what Brother Adam was talking about the principles of Ma'at and the importance, for us to know thyself and to be able to, respect and have principles towards each other. It goes back to all of that. My brother, I've got Sister Yar on the phone and other callers trying to come through, but I just want to thank you, my brother, for the contribution that you've made, the concerns that you've raised. It's gone out there in the airways, and we hope that it finds its way to the rightful ears and that appropriate action is taken. Yeah. Okay, so that's Brother Ade. Did we lose you, Brother Ade? Okay, let's go over to Sister Yar. Sister Yar, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. You've been hearing the callers and the comments that they've been making. Please do contribute, my sis.
Well, one of the things I wanted to respond to was what Brother Adam was talking about, supporting our own. Well, my 2 years of living in Ghana, that's one of the best things I loved about it, is that all of the money I was spending was being spent with black people.
All right.
When I rode public transportation, taxi or anything, that money was going to black people.
Mm-hmm.
When I was going to the local market to buy food, that money was going to black people.
Mm-hmm.
Was going to the local pub to have my kebab and star beer or whatever, a local restaurant. It was going to black people.
Yes.
Place that we have, it wasn't a situation where you had to go look for black people to support. They're all over. They're everywhere.
Uh-huh.
It's very easy
Yeah.
in Africa to spend your money with black people. I love seeing black people's faces on my money.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
And every day that I spent anything, absent, you purposely going to a supermarket owned by a Lebanese, but I tried not to do that. Unless there was just something that I could not find in the local markets, then you would have to. But for the most part, your money will be spent with black people.
Yes. And we've got to make sure that, that situation continues, and that kind of market infrastructure that allows us to spend with our own continues. Because what I'm seeing, for example, in the Gambia, where I've recently returned, we've got lots of street market traders. And the tradition is that we shop with the local street trader. But then the Lebanese, the Indians and the Chinese, they're coming over and they're opening up supermarkets and they're selling what the street traders sell. And of course, the supermarkets look more westernized and more trendy. And then, a lot of our people are then going to stop shopping with the local street traders and start shopping in the supermarkets, not realizing that by doing so, they're actually putting their own people out of business, So there's a works, definitely an education, a huge educational program that's needed to enable our people to realize the importance of buying black, and putting our money back into the black community. Brother Ade, I'm trying to add you back, but I'm sorry, I'm not able to add you at the moment. I'm unable to add calls just now. Let me go back to Sister Yah.
Yeah, I wanted to say that you're absolutely right. Now, we in the West have experienced this phenomenon firsthand, where now we don't see any local black-owned businesses really in our own neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. We have the Chinese, we have the Arabs, we have everybody, and our own local that used to be black-owned supermarkets, black-owned stores have gone out of business. So who best than us to go home and tell our people, educate them? No, you cannot do that. This is what happened to us in the UK. This is what happened to us in America. This is what happened to us. So do not repeat. Learn from our mistakes. Support your own. You understand? Yes. But that's why it's imperative. I don't care which issue you bring up. The diaspora is best suited to go home and deal with our people and educate them on, and to stop things in their track, because we already have firsthand experience on where it's headed. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's why it's very imperative that we get home and help our brothers and sisters. We don't want to go through a second colonialism. You know what I mean? We don't want to go through a second enslavement. We can stop it in a track. We can. We, the diaspora, we can. But it's imperative that we get home. We have brothers and sisters in the diaspora who do have money. We need to talk to those brothers and sisters and say, go. You need to open up a supermarket in the Gambia.
Yeah.
Open up a supermarket. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, all our millionaires. Look at all of our musicians and all of our artists. They should have supermarkets in their name. Over here we should have the Stormzy supermarket, I don't know all these artists' names, but, they should have their own supermarket. Absolutely agree. We've got Brother Ade in the group, I think. I've managed to add him back. Brother Ade, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. We're still speaking with Sister Yah. Did you have a question that you wanted to put directly to her?
Well, no, not really, because she said, some of it, it's wishful thinking, you can't really be teaching adults, things they're supposed to know better about.
You can. Oh, yes, you can. We can't have that defeatist attitude. We have to. We learn something new every day. And, I know there are some that say, can't teach an old dog to suck eggs or what have you. But, what about lifelong learning? The idea that we can continue to learn on an ongoing basis. Let me bring in Brother Kwame, who I think I've managed to add to the group. Brother Kwame, are you there? Brother Kwame? No? Okay, I'm going to try and add Sister Win.
Greetings.
Oh, you are there, Brother Kwame. Greetings, Brother Kwame. How are you doing?
I'm very well, and yourself?
I'm good, thank you. I'm glad I've been able to add you. Just trying to add Sister Win as well. But yeah, we have Brother Ade in the group, and we have Sister Yah in the group as well. Welcome, Brother Kwame. Go ahead.
Greetings. While I think, the project is a laudable idea, and it's important that we have right-minded thinking African people support projects like this, because the last thing that African needs are black, white faces coming into the continent. But I think that one of the biggest things is language. I'm a true component of that. If you decide, or if you choose to come to a country, you have to speak the language. And this is why I thought many of our people from the diaspora, because I'm Ghanaian. I lived in, while I lived in Ghana, I saw many Jamaicans and African Americans in particular come to Ghana and live and settle in Ghana. And one thing that really peed me off was that their refusal to speak Tree, any Tree, because Tree is by far the most widely spoken African tongue in Ghana, apart from Ewe and Ga and that kind of thing. So Tree is the most, or Wakan is the most widely spoken African language in Ghana. So I was really peed off, and I use that term peed off, that our people from the diaspora refuse in their mindset to speak any Tree, and I can. So how can you communicate with people on the ground, right? Or if you can't speak in their tongue that they can understand you proficiently? Because the majority of people don't understand English like we speak it over here or how it's spoken in America. They speak a dialect of English that is not, is a dialect of English that is not consummate, right? So we have to speak. For example, if you're going to go to Ghana, you have to speak at least Tree to be able to communicate your worldview in a way that the people on the ground who don't understand English and its nuances will understand in their mother tongue.
We hear you loud and clear on that, Brother Kwame. You've certainly hit that message home. The importance for us to learn an African language, the main African language of the country that we decide to relocate or repatriate to. Absolutely agree with you on that.
Could I just, how you doing, Brother Kwame? Could I just add something? I mean, what you're talking there is true from this, very true. Because I mean, it's out of lazy. I don't know whether our people are lazy. I mean, obviously, naturally, it's good for you to be able to communicate with the language or where you're going to settle it. But there are colleges in London, Brother Kwame, that actually teach all these languages.
I know. There's even Alkebulan. They teach Yoruba and Shona and then the Bele and I think Tree as well. So
exactly.
People are serious, and this is why I say serious, because you can't go to a country and speak the slave master's language in that country where you're going to. I didn't buy that. For me, not serious. Because if you come to Ghana or Nigeria and speak in English, that is disrespectful to the ancestors, one, and two, disrespect to the people that your brothers and sisters that you come to associate yourself with.
Yes, we hear and we agree. And I think even on our shows here on this program, I think we need to start greeting ourselves. I know we do it sometimes, maybe making it more of a policy that we greet each other in one of our African languages. Yeah, so Nangadef.
Sista Shanice, if we were in your vicinity.
I said Nangadef. Wolof. Nangadef, yeah. Nagabechekbi. How is your day? You said Jamarek. So we are trying a little,
That is very good message that you're picking up some Wolof. Obviously, you've been to Gambia, you spent about a couple of months there, and it's very good that you picked up some of the basic language, and it's important to communicate with our people.
Yeah, and they love it. They love it when they hear you trying.
And the thing is that, and this is what the trick that our brothers from the diaspora miss. If you attempt to speak, whether it's Chi, Ga, Fanti, Wolof, Mandingo, Ewe, Crew, they respect you. Our brothers and sisters on the ground respect you because they say yes. The brother or sister trying to speak mother tongue. They have the appreciation of you more.
Yeah.
Make an effort to speak the mother tongue while coming down and speak the white man's language.
Yeah, and it's even instilling in them a sense of pride of their language as well. Because we're saying to them, no, it's okay. You don't have to talk to me in English. I want to try and speak your language. I value your language. Yes, I may be proficient in English, but I also value your language, So, Brother Ade, let me ask you to land because I've been trying to add Sister Win and I can't add her. And I'm trying to add Brother Omar now as well and can't add him. So, Brother Ade, if I can ask you to land, and then I'll ask Brother Kwame to land, and then I'll bring in 2 new callers and allow our sister to come back as well.
Okay. But everything you do must be serious anyway. Like Brother Kwame is saying, you got to take issues serious because It's getting late. You know, you have to act.
Yeah.
Black people will be more proactive rather than non-proactive. You know.
Yes. All right, my brother Ade, we hear you. Those final words of yours for today. We've got to get serious. We've got to be more active. Absolutely agree with you. Rise yourself up, my brother. Brother Kwame, let me allow you to land so I can bring in Sister Win and Brother Omar.
Right. So, I mean, as the Right of Return showed last year in Ghana, more than 750,000 Africans from around the globe came to Ghana. So the awakening is happening whether the diaspora, and I'm going to exact myself from that, whether the diaspora are ready or not, that's for you to decide whether you're ready or not. The fact of the matter is, the awakening has already begun. And we saw last year in Ghana, more than 750,000 people come to Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of them are conscious, but the damn few, very 750,000 who are, and already links have been made.
Mm-hmm.
So like I was saying, if you're serious to come to Ghana or Africa, we'll welcome you.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to speak the mother tongue. Do not come to Ghana. Don't come to any part of Africa. Disrespect us with your European ways and speaking the white man's language, because we will diss you back if you're speaking that way to us. Secondly, right, there's opportunities abound, right? Like the recent Ghana Investment Promotion Conference that was held in London 2 summers ago suggests that there are many opportunities in the continent that we must seize onto. We cannot afford to allow the Indian, the Wazungu, the Chinese, the Arab to take those opportunities that are our birthright. We have a right, to enjoy the fruits of our labor and of our ancestors and the resources that we were given with by the Almighty. So we have responsibility to invest, and this is to the right-minded people. If not right-minded person, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to those individuals who are right-minded, thinking people and have the content of Africa at the core of their value and belief system. Now it's time to prepare yourself to leave Babylon, because we see what's happening in Trump. Trump will get re-elected. Ain't no doubt about that. Trump will get re-elected. I can guarantee Cass today, and speaker on Galaxy, the 8th of February, 2020, Trump will be re-elected, right? We see in this country now Johnson, and we see that the post-Brexit shenanigans has already happened in the mass deportation of black people to their so-called mother countries. So it ain't going to get any better for us. So those who want to go, start making preparations now.
Right.
One country back is 60 your heart. Could be Zimbabwe, could be Ghana, could be Nigeria, could be the Gambia, could be Kemet, could be Morocco. Don't care, as long as you find one country that fits in your value system and in your spiritual realm. Go to that country, learn the language, learn the culture, learn the environment before you make that decision to settle in that country. And I'll just end on that. Give thanks.
Wonderful. Give thanks, my brother. And just to remind the Galaxy family that Starlight Global has 2 trips this year to Mama Africa. So if you would like to join a group of like-minded people and fly out as part of a collective to Africa, we have got 2 trips. The first one is going to be to Zimbabwe, flying out on the 22nd of September, returning on the 6th of October. And the second trip to Mama Africa is going to be on the 22nd of October, returning on the 5th of November, and on that occasion we're flying to Tanzania. Yeah, so if you're interested, you want to inquire, you want to make a reservation, you can email Starlight Global Events at yahoo.com. That's Starlight Global Events at yahoo.com. Okay, or you can give us a call on the following number. Put the number in your phone. It's +44 7415 097 947. Come and check out Africa for yourself. Don't believe the television. Don't believe the hell of a vision. Okay, them not gonna tell you anything good about your country. I've managed to add Sister Win. Wonderful. Greetings, Sister Win. Welcome, Black, my sis.
Greetings, Sister Shanice. I'm on the road, so there's a lot of background noise behind me.
That's okay.
Especially to say a big thank you to Sister Ya for the wonderful plan that she's put together for those who are of the mind to go home and live. And you ask a question about those who've been and what their experience has been.
Mm-hmm.
Now, due to Galaxy don't realize the important role it plays in my life.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of Galaxy, I went to Ghana in 2010, knowing no one, but stayed in the house of an African-American lady. She didn't know me, I didn't know her. 6 years later, I am married to a Ghanaian. Okay?
Wow. Yes, sis. Yes, sis.
And so some of the programs that the sisters got in place, I need them as well so that I do the right thing the right way. So I'm very much interested in the totality of our program. And if I can be of any help with persons that are going over, I'm willing to do so because, as you know, I'm settling.
Yes.
Getting ready to go down and put down roots fully. Okay, so that's the reason for calling in. And thank you so much for time and space. Blessed love.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for that call, and for rising up the sister in as well for the work that she's doing and for your offer of help and support. Sister Yah, let me allow you to come back now. 149, I think I've been able to add you to the group, and there's 726. I've been trying to add you, but unable to do so. But I think we've got a space free in the group now, thanks to Sister Win. Okay, over to Sister Yah.
Yes.
Yes, my sis. Were you able to hear Sister Win?
I was, and I wanted to say thank you very much, Sister Win, and we appreciate your support and your willingness to help us out and help us move this program, and make it a success. So you can always send me a message at the website. If you go to the website and go to the bottom of the page, you'll see a contact. You can put your information there and send me a message, and I promise I'll respond.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, our sister is making some serious links in Ghana as well. And it would be awesome, to have that link between the UK and the USA in Ghana through formidable sisters like yourself and Sister Win. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, let me bring in caller 726. Greetings, caller 726. Who do we have on the line?
Greetings, it's G from the suburbs here.
Ah, welcome, Brother G. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
Wonderful, great to hear you. We've got Sister Yah in the group as well.
Yeah, can I talk, or somebody's going to talk?
No, the floor is yours. Go ahead, my Brother G.
Oh, okay. Let me go. I won't talk too long. Yeah, what it is, I've been listening to the show, and it's interesting. You see, the thing about it I find is that the solution to our problem is not difficult to work out. I mean, it's practically straightforward. You see, what is difficult is putting it into practice. That's the difficult part. The solution and what we need to do, you can learn that practically in about 24, 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Reading, watching YouTube, seeing people who have done it before us and doing it right now, whether it's our people or other cultures and what they do. You can pretty much work it out in 24 hours. It's putting it into practice. That's where the problem is.
Mm-hmm.
So you had somebody, I think his name was Adam, Brother Adam, talking about self-repair.
Mm-hmm.
Now, self-repair is a good thing, but it has no timeline. So you can go on a self-repair journey for 30 years and still deliver nothing and produce nothing. So what I'm saying is that we have to put things into practice. Now, in order to put things into practice, you have to make a sacrifice. Because your boss is not paying you money to relocate to Africa. He doesn't even want you to relocate to Africa. He wants you in the office at 9 o'clock Monday morning. So he's not going to be paying you money to relocate. So your wages, for most of us, is not going to enable us to relocate to Africa unless we make a lifestyle change. A lifestyle change is what needs to happen. And that's when it starts to get difficult, because most people do not want to make this lifestyle change. They want to continue driving the car they're driving, continue going to the nightclub, continue going shopping. These are the things that most of us want to continue doing. So what we do is, I think the word is procrastinate is the word. We start talking about all these things that have no timeline to it, and we cling on to it. Next year, we're still talking about it. 5 years down the road, we're still talking about it. 10 years, we're still talking about this thing. But to make that change, and that's a difficult thing to do, to make that change. You've got to make that change, which means also getting rid of all our addictions. We have to get rid of our addictions. I keep saying it. The drinking, the smoking, the gambling, the shopping, all of it has to go. That is what is holding us, really holding us back. Life of addiction. Because addiction has to be fed. And you feed it by pushing your money there. The drug man ain't going to give you the drugs for free. He gives it to you to get hooked for free. Oh yeah, take this one, sample this one. But once you're hooked, then you have to start paying for it. That's the money that you could be taking to Africa. You wake up in the morning, you have to feed your addiction, your drinking, your smoking, your gambling, your this, your that. Until we look at that and we break that, it's not even about knowing thyself and self, whatever it is he was saying. You have to break that addiction. You can know yourself. But if you've got an addiction, where are you going?
Our addiction has got to be to return to Mama Africa in the right mind. And, you know, maybe not all of us.
It's not just the right mind, it's financially.
And financially capable.
You can't even get to the airport.
Yes, that's true. True, Brother G. You know, so we have to have a plan. Yes, and we have to realize that, you know, a lot of us are broken people. And there's a lot of repairing that's needed in order to get us to that place where we can be an asset, you know, to our community wherever we are, whether we're here or whether we're in Africa. But the good news is, my brother, as you know, I've recently returned from the Gambia, and I met so many people from the UK and a few from the USA who have Sankofed and gone back, who have made the transition, who have sold up and have returned to Africa, who have sold up and are building their home in Africa, or who have sold up and have bought a home in Africa and are doing business out there in the Gambia. So many. It's like an expat community, you know, that a growing expat community that's happening over there. And it is a really good thing. What we've got to be mindful of, though, is that, as we're saying here, is that we repair ourselves before we go, and that some of us don't bring our bad, dirty habits and dirty ways over to Africa with us, you know. So we have to fix up ourselves, and we have to, you know, be an example, you know, because we're like the pioneers. Those of us who are going now, we're the pioneers. You know, we're the ones who are going out ahead. Others will be following. Our family members will be following. When we set up our homes, they'll be coming there on their holidays. The place that I stayed, everybody can take a look at the house that I was staying in when I was in the Gambia, because I did a video of it and it's on my YouTube channel. Just go to the Sista Shanice show on my YouTube channel and you can see the house that I was staying in. If that house was here in the UK, it would be valued at millions of pounds. But the owner of that house works as a security guard in Sweden, and he has been sending his money back home to build that house for the last 10 years. And you should see that house. So when you talk about commitment, my brother, when you talk about, you know, having a disciplined lifestyle that's going to enable you to send your money, you know, to build, this is what that brother had to have the mindset to do. And, you know, everyone needs to take a look at that house. It probably cost around 100,000 or so to build, but, you know, it's invaluable. You couldn't even live in a house like that here in the UK or I suppose the USA, but it's possible. in Africa. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to, build a house that size or anything like that. But what I'm saying is that you can have and enjoy a quality of life in Africa that you are not going to be able to achieve here in the UK, probably in 1,000 years. And I hear everything you're saying, my brother, and you're right. We've got to stop the procrastination. We've got to, get rid of these addictions that's sucking up all of our money. We have to realize that a job is just keeping us just over broke, and it's all about, in America, it's about paying for the credit cards. Over here, it's about paying the bills, and we've got to, even change our lifestyle. When we think about the lifestyle that our parents had so that they could, get a foothold in this country, many of them, had to live in one room, and one house for a few years before they could save enough to buy their own place. Right now, we're all into this independent lifestyle living, and myself included. I'm part of a big family. Yeah, there's 7 of us over here. All 7 of us, we got our 7 different houses, and then all our children got their own places that they're living in, but that's just the way that we're feeding the economy. Imagine if 7 of us had got together and bought one big place, and we're just paying one mortgage, one electric bill, one gas bill, one council tax. We're all shopping to eat from the same kitchen, Change of lifestyle that could have a significant impact on improving our quality of life. But most of us have just bought into this Western lifestyle, hook, line and sinker. But now, it's time to look at it differently. Let me allow our Sister Yah to come back in and comment on the contributions that we've had from yourself, Brother G, and from Sister Wynne, Brother Kwame, and Brother Ade.
Can you hear me, sister?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
And we've got Brother G on the line as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, in terms of the brother, and I don't remember his name, that was mentioning about the languages, speaking the indigenous language.
Yeah, Brother Kwame.
Mm-hmm. I think it's important that we do learn to speak an indigenous language. Most Africans I know speak several languages. Okay. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, not just Africans, most people outside of America, and I don't know about the UK, but people coming from other countries tend to speak several languages. It's for whatever reason, we're the only ones who just speak one language. Now, I would not let not speaking an indigenous language stop me from repatriating. I find that children pick it up much quicker than adults. When I was living there, my youngest son was 3, and before he turned 4, he could understand tree perfectly. He was going to school with the children, and he just is like his little brain absorbed it. I think it's important for our children to get there at a young age, and then in one generation, people will be able to speak, multiple languages. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
But we have to, like you said, we have to be the pioneers and go build a foundation. I know Ghanaians who are from Ghana who don't speak Tree. They speak their language. If you go to Eastern, where the Ghan people are, I know plenty of Ghan people who don't speak Tree. Everybody doesn't speak Tree. You understand what I'm saying? There are several languages in Africa. Now, speaking English allows me to communicate with all of them, because that's their official language. But yes, should we learn how to speak an indigenous language? We should. That should not stop us from going home, though. It should not. And in terms of what the brother was saying, was cutting out some of our habits and minimizing things so that we can be able to make the return home. That's a good idea. I agree with it. But how are you going to do that when my husband, what we have right now, let me give you an example. We have land. We have businesses going on, agricultural projects. We have poultry farm. We have all this. Guess what? We're able to have that because we have somebody in his country, his brothers are handling that for us. The vast majority of our people who've been gone for 400 years don't have that. So who are they going to send their money over to build a house for them? Mm-hmm. Who are they going to send their money over to start a business for them? They don't know anybody. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we can't put unrealistic goals on our people. But this is why I'm so excited about the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program, because guess what? Once we get the first families over, sis, and get them set up, they are going to be the bridge to help their other family members to come over, because there will be somebody there that they know they can feel comfortable. Oh, well, my cousin moved over there with the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program, got a business, got a house. I have somebody I can go visit, and I have somebody who I can go stay with, and I can start something. See, the foundation has to be laid first for our people to make this mass migration. Somebody has to go first, and those initial people need help. You understand? But once we get those people set up, they can reach back now and help others to come and do those things that your callers are suggesting. But the first group need help first. You know? Yes. So, a lot of people contact me from all over, from the Caribbean, from South America, from the UK, because I post a lot of pictures, and videos about what my projects that I have done. I wouldn't have been able to do that, but for the fact that my husband is Ghanaian and I have Ghanaian family. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. I think intermarriage is very important. Do you know the vast majority of my sister friends are married to brothers from different countries in Africa, and they are able to build something? You see, it's very important for I think us to start. When I hear sisters and brothers over here and say, well, I can't find anybody, and I'm like, look, have you considered outside of the United States? There are over a billion on the continent of Africa. So don't tell me you can't find a good black man or woman. They're out there. You just got to get your passport, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. But I said all that to say this. That's what we want to do. All those things that your callers are bringing up, those things are important. But how do we make the first step to get there? We have to help our people get there and start doing all the things that they that they're bringing up. They're bringing up some wonderful points. Now, I don't know how much more longer we have, but a couple other things.
We've got 25 minutes before the top of the hour, and other callers trying to come in. And I've got a caller in the group. I think I've got Brother Omar. Are you there, Brother Omar?
Yes, I'm there.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, so we'll bring you in a very short while, my brother. Thank you. Thank you for waiting.
The other points I wanted people to know was, if anybody has been following what's going on in Ghana, the expedited citizenship that our people have been able to get under John Mahama, and then this last group under the current president, 126 were able to get theirs. More have been approved. That organization that's responsible for that is headed by Dr. Malena. He's from the United States, but he's been living in Ghana for a number of years, and he's been working with the government of Ghana to get us our birthright, our citizenship. I've been invited to, the organization is called Ministry of the Future, so I've been invited to join them so that I can be involved with government and getting our people citizenship in Ghana. So I'm very excited about that, because I believe that's a lot of... I've never been one to stress over citizenship, because as long as I can get my legal residency and be in the country, that's always been fine for me. But a lot of people really want the citizenship, and I think they should be able to get it and not have to worry. You can get it if you go through your regular immigration process, and it takes about 7 years. And some people just don't, they want it expedited, and that's okay.
Yeah, especially if people are going over at retirement age, they don't, may not have 7 years to wait. And agree, there's lots happening in Ghana right now. I was mentioning on my show on Wednesday about the Minister of Finance's announcement about the Sankofa savings account, which sounds really exciting.
Yes. I'm very excited about being a part of helping our people get their citizenship in Ghana. Also, I've been invited to meet the president of the Gambia in reference to the Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program.
Great.
Yes, I'm very. The program was brought to him by some connections that we have. He's excited about it. He's very interested in it, and I've been invited to come and meet him, so I'll be doing that soon. And then the other thing, I don't know if you're familiar with Brother RJ Mighty in Senegal and what he's doing. They're building a whole town. He's got a lot of investors. They're building an apartment building.
Great.
Complex, yes, everything. And so we've partnered together, for the people that we bring over into Senegal to be a part of that development. And I've partnered with the President General of the UNIA-ACL here in the States, Cleo Miller Jr. He's got an agreement with a chief from Cape Coast to give land into his area in Cape Coast. So they've asked me to partner with them in terms of when we get our people over, help some get established and get these businesses over in that area as well. So I'm very excited. We're getting a great reception from. Yes, a lot of great things.
Yeah, and I believe you've also you're also supported by the former UN ambassador. Sorry?
African Union ambassador.
Yeah, the African Union ambassador. Yes.
Yes, our Rakana Chiombo Recoil, giving us a full endorsement. Absolutely, yes.
So it's a brilliant program, and I want to thank you so much for sharing it with us here on the Big G. Certainly hope that our listeners will join and sign up and be donating their £1 or $1 a month. Hardly anything, but if every one of us was to do it, it would make a significant impact. Let me bring in, sorry, Brother Adam, I was trying to add you to the group, but let me bring in Brother Omar. Greetings, Brother Omar.
Grand Rising, Sista Shanice.
Grand Rising. I should say Nangadef.
Yeah, Mangwanani.
Mangwanani, yes. Yeah. I've forgotten now what the response is to Mangwanani. No, I'll just go. Mangwanani.
No, anyway.
Go ahead, my brother.
Great. Yeah, I'm listening to Brother Adam. He's always talking about uncovering and going back to Mahat. It's a beautiful thing for people, and Brother Kwame adding also the language. But Sister Shanice, what I would say in this debate, we need to be real, or we need to be true to ourselves. We are at war. When you're at war, I don't think it makes sense for you to be fixing a place when you know that it can be destroyed. And I think one of the reasons what we have why we're not really going for, I'm not saying a lot of black people across the world are doing a very wonderful thing, but as we know, in Black Wall Street, we could create Africa, and they will come and destroy it back tomorrow. So,
especially if we're doing it on their land, isn't it, my brothers?
Say again?
Especially if we're building on their so-called land, in their so-called territory, the areas that they want to, that the white extremists want to reserve for themselves.
I'm talking about Africa, realistically, too.
Okay, you're saying that we need to think twice about building in Africa. Okay, I know. I understood that in the context of...
We're listening to the conversation, and we're making a lot of plans about what we need to do going forward as a black nation, how we're going to rise Africa. But we're not realizing that these people that we're planning to do things will not allow us to do this so easily. So if we're not thinking militarized and thinking about when we start this, if they come to destroy it, what we're going to do to prepare to stop them. If we don't start looking at it this way, I think whatever we're doing, it's not something that we should happen, but if they should come to destroy, what are we going to do? So I think we go in about saying, as I said to you, Brother Kwame was talking about learning the language of Africa. It's all good, because just like me, if I go somewhere and somebody says to me in Jamaican language, Wagwan, and everything it makes me feel good as a Jamaican. It's not changing the policy and the problem that we're having in Jamaica.
Yes.
So these type of things, there's some things that we're going to have to say, we need to wait until we're proper Africa is set up and we've got our school and everything that we want. We could teach the next generation these things, because it would work more for them. But I think this generation right now, our purpose is to awaken the revolution, no matter what it is, teach as much as we can teach and prepare to go into battle, because that's what it's going to take for us to get the change that we need. These people are not going to give us the change that we need easy. So I don't think we should spend so much time, not saying it's not important, but emphasizing and learning about African language right now and going into this ma'at type of calm type of behavior, because we can't be calm right now. It's not a time to be calm. And we need to realize it. And as I'm saying to you, there's a lot of development that's going to go around, that's going to bring everything into one. But we need to understand fundamentally that we are at war. And when you're at war, you can't be under any nice, pretty sweet mood and trying to sugarcoat things. It's not that time. We have to be thinking like warriors and warriors. So I would just like to bring that into the conversation with everything that you're talking about. It's all good, a plan, but we need to start this. When I'm going to Jamaica, my mom always tell me you got a difference between need and want. You have to know your need is different from your want, and we need to find out what we need to do now and what we want to do later. And there's a big difference in that, because I said to you, we can make everything that we say we want now, and it could be destroyed because we didn't prepare to defend it and protect it and to take care of it for it to last. So we need to think about that very, very, very seriously, my sister.
We hear you loud and clear on that, my brother Omar, and thank you for bringing that to the table as a reminder, of the importance for our people. And can I, I'm not really one to go down the gender lines, but I think, this is really something for our men to be thinking about, how to defend and how to protect that which is ours, how to defend and protect the continent, how to defend and protect their women and their children wherever they are as well. You're absolutely right. It needs to go hand in hand with, our plans really for Mama Africa or for wherever we are. And I like what you said there, our role here, very importantly, is to raise awareness, to reach and to teach and to help prepare for that better future. But in so doing, not losing sight of the importance of protecting, that which is ours, because we know that these people have got their FEMA camps already dotted all over Africa, and they're militarizing on a daily basis. They're training up their armies on a daily basis, and we can't lose sight of that. Absolutely hear you, Brother Omar, on that. Let's ask my sis to comment. 149. Trying to add you, Brother Adam, trying to add you as well. I think people have to wait until the line is free and then call in. So thank you, Brother Omar. Let me just ask you to land, and then I'm going to go to the sister. But after you land, and if you hang up, then it frees up the line, my brother.
Okay, my sister, wonderful. Yeah, so, I just want to raise that, I said to you, I appreciate a lot of the work that, different people are doing across the black continent and across the world to uplift our people. But, I really want to emphasize on that, because as I said to you, we can see everything that we try to start and destroy it. So, and, in terms of what Sister was saying earlier on, one of the problems I could say almost, when you're talking about having residency in Africa and preparing, and it almost sounds to me like, when we talk about Africa now, I'm getting the feeling like people are saying, if you don't really have money, you can't come, because everything's about money. And I think we need to start finding a way and realizing that most of our people across the world don't have money. So how can we create a community of housing that we could get some people that's ready to go to Africa, that's ready to work for Africa, could actually come there, probably stay for 6 months, pay probably say rent free, or you pay your rent later till you get yourself on the foot. We need to start looking into those channels more than thinking he was going to come there and find the money to build a forest house and then find themselves to work. We need to prepare these people. And we know what it takes, because you come to this country illegally, when you're illegal, it goes through and all that. So you shouldn't be going to Africa and going through all that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're saying you want the diaspora to come in to help with their brain or what they can bring, you should prepare somewhere comfortable for them to live so they can work properly for our people. And I think that's only fair. So these are things that the governments need to start looking into, and the people, in this country that are responsible and wanting the diaspora to come, because don't forget, we are normal people working in these countries with normal wages, and there's so much we can do. So a little help like that, especially in terms of living and getting your residency, I think these things should be speed up like faster than they are, because it just almost seems like it's like another business that we're paying to go into. We're paying to go to Africa. We're paying to go to Africa to help our people. That's what it feels like to me. So these are some parts we start looking into, and until we kind of, you see, there was a saying, as Dr. Akomba, the UN's ambassador, former ambassador, I should say, as she was trying to do, I was saying something in America, which is trying to bring the diaspora together over there and have like a bank so we could fund things that we want to do. We need to start having something like that, because that's the only thing that would help us in that way, in terms of saying to diasporans. We should have our own thing, so we say, okay, we're going to go and we're going to build like about 10 houses for these people that's going to do say, doctor or becoming lawyers or whatever, and they could, you know, get that first 6 months or a year, getting, you know, not worrying about the bills and the payment too much, because you could focus on doing more work that way. You know what I mean? I think people would perform better if you give them that opportunity to start.
We hear you, my brother. Thank you so much for your thoughts, sharing your thoughts there. Yes, more needs to be done to help people who may not have the finances. And I think to a large extent, that's what Sister Ya's project is about. But maybe there needs to be more similar projects like the one that Sister Ya is doing, so that it can help to finance the way of our people. And also, very importantly, as you're saying, you know, in the first part of your contribution, to be looking over our shoulders all the time and realize that there is destruction and war behind us, and you know, we need to be prepared for that as well. Thank you, Brother Omar.
Okay, well, land there, my sister, continues in the great work on the rise of all the Galaxy families, all the Galaxy listeners, and
thank you.
Awaken. Yes, my sister.
One love, one love. Okay, that's Brother Omar. Let me try and add a caller as he hangs up there. That's Brother Adam and 149. 149, was I able to successfully add you?
Hi, I'm not sure.
Yes, okay, you're there. Great. Hold it there, please. Let me just allow Sister Ya to respond briefly, and then I'll bring you in. We are 13 minutes away from the top of the hour, so contributions now need to be brief. Sister Ya, you heard Brother Omar there.
Hello, yes, sister. I couldn't hear him very clearly.
You couldn't?
No.
Oh dear. Okay. Well, I mean, he was making an invaluable contribution. He was talking about the importance for us to also think about the need to defend ourselves and to protect ourselves as well, because we know we're at war. There are those who are not just going to sit back and allow us as a people to be able to repatriate easily and start rebuilding Africa, you know. So we need to also be thinking in terms of defense. We also need to be thinking about, you know, our war strategies as well. And then in the second part of his contribution, he was saying that about the need for us, those of us who are the pioneers, to be raising awareness, to be reaching our people, teaching our people, and to prepare for battle as well.
Absolutely. Well, you know that Africa has the youngest population on the planet, and that is expected to
to grow.
The average age on the continent is like 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Where everybody else is growing older and outside and not repopulating, not having babies. So I think what the brother's saying about defense is important.
Mm-hmm.
Who better than most of us in the diaspora have served in the military? I'm a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we can go home and get the youth organized to defend Africa.
That needs to happen. That needs to be part of our plan.
Exactly. So we who are in the diaspora, who served in these, we know how these people operate. I oftentimes tell my brothers and sisters on the continent of Africa that when it comes to dealing with the white man, they need to listen to us in the diaspora, because we have lived in the house with them for 400 or 500 years. No one knows them better than us. So when we tell you something about this white man, you need to take heed and listen, because for some reason on the continent, our people, even though they were colonized, I don't understand, they have this,
we call it a white savior complex.
Yes, they don't see danger.
No,
they don't see danger in allowing these people to walk off with their children. They think they have this idea that these people are just so nice and kind, and
they see them as next to God and angels. Yes, my sis. Let me allow the caller on the line to come in, only because of time. Sorry to cut you. Greetings, caller 149. Who do we have on the line?
Greetings, you have Enzazaki on the line.
Sorry, who?
Enzazaki.
Enzazaki, welcome, sis. Welcome to the Big G. Are you a first-time caller?
Family, yes, I am.
Oh, welcome, and thank you for calling in to the Big G. Welcome. Go ahead, my sis.
So I just wanted to come quickly and offer a point in terms of when we speak about, repatriating to Mama Africa and the importance of getting our minds right and our hearts right and our spirits right before we do that. A couple of other people have said, the objective is not just to return to the motherland just to escape Babylon, but we also have to be conscious that we're contributing, in the right way when we return, if and when we return there. So I just want to offer in terms of something that is, sorry, I'm on the move, so excuse the noise, something that can support that process, that healing process while we are here is, I want to invite, my people. I'm involved with an organization that we are putting on a celebration, a 10-year anniversary of the Nair African Storytelling Festival. And we're really encouraging all our melanin-rich family to come out. It's in July. It's a weekend of camping, of storytelling, of healing for our family. And really the focus is a family event, but the focus is on the children, because as we know, the children are our future. It's really about cultivating that African spirit in the children, while they are here, while they are growing. So as I said, the event is running. It's in July, Thursday the 23rd of July till Sunday the 26th. And we've got a lot of beautiful events going on. As I said, drumming, storytelling, workshops, yoga. And if you need more information, we just want to forward you onto www.shanti, that's SHANTI-TCHI.com. You'll find all the details there. We have discounts going on at the moment for, groups of 12 or more. So it's really, we're encouraging everyone, gather up your family, your friends, and let's go and enjoy Mother Nature. Because yes, we want to leave Babylon and we want to enjoy Africa and the Caribbean, but there's a lot of beauty right here in this stone island where we reside, and we want to encourage that connecting to the earth, because we know how healing that is in itself. So again, we're encouraging all the family to gather together. Visit www.shanti-chi.com. All your details will be there. And there's also a competition, like a treasure hunt, to guess the venue that we're going to.
Okay.
March till May, we'll be putting out clues every week. And people can guess, and then there'll be prizes for the first 4 people to guess the correct venue. So, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Once again, big up, blessed love and upful vibes to all my African family out there. Let's come together, let's heal.
Absolutely. Rise yourself up for the works, my sis. Keep up the great works, and feel free to call back in intermittently to remind us of the dates and the event, okay?
Yes.
Rise up. Keep up the great works. Okay, so no more calls now. We are 5 minutes away from the top of the hour, and let me allow our beautiful guest from the USA to have a couple of minutes out of the 5 just to wrap up and sum up, I should say, the contribution that she's been making today to today's show. Bringing you back, Sister Yah. Are you there, Sister Yah?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yes, bringing you back in.
All right. Well, I just wanted to say thank you very much for having me on your show. Thank you for the callers and their contributions, and I look forward to our city tour in the UK, in London or Bristol, or hopefully.
Yeah, looking forward to it as well. Maybe Irritated Genie can join you on that tour. We've been wanting him to come too.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I really want our brothers and sisters in the UK to get involved in this movement.
Yes.
The word, yes, over there, because like I said, it's for them too. It's not just for us over here in America. It's for all of our people, because we're all suffering the same thing wherever we are. So
we will make the links, my sis, and we'll bring it on and we'll make that tour happen. It needs to happen, and it provides a platform as well for us to be speaking with each other, like-minded people coming together, strategizing and organizing for a better tomorrow. So we'll make that happen. So delighted to have made the links with you, my sis. I want to thank you so much for getting up so early to join us here on the Community Talk Show. And we're no longer strangers.
All right. And please, everyone, go to sankofarepat.com. sankofarepat.com. We're also on Instagram, Twitter. Follow us on all of and Facebook, Sankofa Repatriation Assistance Program on Facebook. Follow us on all of those social media. Oh, I forgot one other thing. If we just to make it fun and to help us spread the word, we're asking those who want to repatriate to do a short 2-minute video and send it to us, telling us why they should be one of the first 100 that we repatriate back to Africa. We're getting some really good videos in, and it's just a fun way for us to get people excited about Africa and repatriation.
Sounds good. Rise yourself up, my sis. Thank you so much once more for your contribution, and we'll continue to remind our listeners about the website and the works that you're doing. One love.
Thank you.
One love. Galaxy family, we are just 2 minutes away from the top of the hour, 3 minutes actually. I want to thank all of the callers that have called in. I want to thank our guest as well, Sister Yar from the USA, for making us aware of that wonderful program that she's running, and we're trying to do a little soundbite or something so that we can periodically remind our listeners to visit that website, www.sankofarepat.com, and look forward to the sister visiting us here in the UK as well. And for regular listeners, you'll know that if you want to visit Africa, Starlight Global is organising a trip to Zimbabwe, and we're organising one to Tanzania as well. So you can fly out with us on the 22nd of September to Zimbabwe for 2 strongs, or you can fly out with us on the 22nd of October to Tanzania. So if you want more information about that Africa business, investment and excursion tour, just give us a email on Starlight Global Events. Email us at Starlight Global Events at yahoo.com. That's Starlight Global Events at yahoo.com. Or you can text us or WhatsApp us on 07415 097 947. Last year we had a group that joined us from the USA. This year again we've already got confirmed that we've got members from the USA that are going to be joining us again. So if you're listening to us from outside of the UK, arrangements can be made for you to join us on that tour to Mama Africa. Okay, so let's go and visit, meet like-minded people, and get to know our brothers and sisters on the continent as well. Okay, so I want to thank you all for listening. My apologies again for the problems that we had earlier in the show today, but I want to rise up Dr. Abu and Chief Pakombra Bai for being here when needed to actually deal with the problem. Thank you so much. So Galaxy family, Sister Shanice in the house, back on Wednesday. Look forward to seeing you then, but until now, let's leave with a track, and I'm going to be leaving you in the capable hands of Dr. Abu. All right, Dr. Abu's in the house, so keep it locked. Okay, big up. Track by Jacques. Rasta is passing through.